Every pasta recipe gives you the same instruction. Use the biggest pot you have, fill it with water, salt it like the sea, boil your pasta. Reserve some pasta water before you drain. And most of those instructions aren't wrong, they're just suboptimal. The big pot takes 20 minutes to boil. It needs more salt to season the same water. And by the time your pasta is done, the starchy water you reserved is so diluted, you'll need to add more to achieve the same binding effect. I use a sautoir instead, about 2 quarts of water. It boils fast, uses less salt, and the pasta water that comes out of it at the end does real magic. And that's the whole point of today. Because the 3 dishes I'm making, Cacio e pepe, Carbonara, and Amatriciana, they don't work without understanding what's in this water. Once you get that, the rest is just practicing technique. Less water in this sautoir means less salt to season it. You want something in the range of a well-seasoned broth, noticeably saline, pleasantly so. And here's the part that matters most for what we're making today. Cooking pasta in less water produces a more concentrated starchy water. Starch leaches off the pasta surface as it cooks. In a 6-quart pot, that starch disperses through a lot of water. In this pan, it concentrates. By the time the pasta is done, the cooking water is a starch suspension, cloudy, slightly viscous, and that starch is the mechanism that makes all 3 of these sauces work. While the water comes up, 3 things to prep. First, pepper. For the cacio e pepe, you want a coarse crack, not dust, not whole. The back of the pan is faster than a mortar and pestle and gives you more control over the texture than a grinder set to coarse. Next, the cheese, and more cheese than you think. Pecorino Romano, grated very fine on a microplane. It has to be fine enough to melt smoothly into the pasta water rather than clumping. Pre-grated won't do it. Buy a wedge and grate it the same day. Garlic and shallots for the Amatriciana. Fine mince on the garlic, small dice on the shallots. One egg yolk separated for the carbonara. I'm also rendering out some chopped bacon with dried Italian seasoning here in place of guanciale. If you can find guanciale or pancetta, use those instead. They're closer to the traditional fat. The technique is identical regardless. Once we're at a full boil, the pasta goes in. Use tongs to work the noodles down. In a shallower pan, they need a little help fitting at first. After that, move them around every couple of minutes. No sticking. I'm going to cook to the minimum recommended time for al dente on the package, not the full range, the low end. The pasta finishes cooking in the sauce. If it's perfect here, it's overcooked in the final dish. Alright, 9 minutes in. Look at the water. That cloudiness is the starch. That's what you're cooking with. On the left here is essentially what Roman pasta looks like when you don't utilize the starchy pasta water. Cheese is clumped, fat is pooled, pasta sits in a broken sauce instead of being coated by one, like the picture on the right. While pasta cooks, starch granules leach off the surface into the water. By the time you're ready to plate, that cooking water isn't plain water. It's a starch suspension, cloudy, slightly viscous, nothing like what went in. Starch molecules are large and complex. In a sauce with fat and water, which would normally separate, they act as a stabilizer. They increase viscosity. They keep the fat and droplets suspended rather than coalescing into a pool. In episode 3, we talked about lecithin doing this in a hollandaise sauce. Starch does something structurally similar here, but it's not in an egg yolk, it's in the water you are about to drain. The method simplified here. Pull the pasta before it's fully cooked. Transfer it directly into your saucepan. Add pasta water as needed and toss aggressively. The residual heat finishes the pasta. The starch water finishes the sauce. Cacio e pepe first. This is the dish that makes the pasta water story impossible to ignore. The sauce is just cheese, pepper, and pasta water. Nothing else. No added fat beyond what's in the pecorino. If the starch doesn't do its job, the cheese will clump immediately. Toast the pepper first. You're not burning it, you're waking it up. 30 seconds in the oil until it's fragrant. This is where the heat goes into the pepper, not the pasta. Add your pasta with a couple ladles of pasta water directly into the pepper. Bring it to a simmer. You're building the base, a starchy liquid infused with pepper, the pan coated. Keep stirring. Add more water. You want the liquid in the pan to become cloudy and slightly thick. You're watching the starch concentrate. Once you've got your cloudy base, turn the heat off. This is the critical move for all 3 dishes today. The dairy or egg goes in off the heat. If the pan is still hot, when the cheese hits it, the proteins will seize up and you get grainy, separated fat instead of sauce. Ladle more pasta water in with the cheese as you need. Stir hard, vigorously. You want to emulsify, not just melt. Watch what happens. The starchy water and the cheese fat come together into something glossy and unified. That's the starch doing its job. Alright, let's plate up. The pepper, the pecorino, the starch, that's all there is. Alright, carbonara, same principle, different fat, additional protein binder. This time the fat is from the bacon alongside a neutral oil, and the binder is an egg yolk instead of just cheese. Same sequence. Pasta water first, then noodles, build the cloudy base. Watch for that starchy texture in the liquid, same signal as before. Once we're good with our base, the heat goes off. The egg yolk, cheese, and a little pasta water go in. Pasta water loosens the mixture so it coats evenly rather than landing in one thick mass. Stir hard, vigorously. The residual heat from the pasta is what is going to set the egg. If the pan were still on, you'd be making scrambled eggs. Plate immediately. More bacon on top, more cheese. The fat from the bacon is in the sauce. The pieces on top are texture, not an afterthought. Last dish, Amatriciana. This is where the pasta water shifts from being the primary emulsifier to being a finishing tool. There's a tomato sauce involved now, and the starchy water's job is to bring the sauce and the pasta together. Once again, I'm starting with oil and bacon fat to saute our shallots. I'm adding a bit of crushed red pepper flakes for heat before adding my minced garlic and stirring until fragrant. Crushed tomatoes go in next. Bring it to a simmer and let it concentrate for a few minutes. The sauce may look too thick and too tight, and that's fine. The pasta water will do something to it. Pasta water and noodles go in. Watch what the starchy water does to the tomato sauce. It loosens it from tight and separate to something that moves with the pasta and begins to coat it. That's the same starch doing the same job it did with the other 2 dishes, just in a different environment. Heat goes off and cheese goes in. Our final toss. The sauce may tighten back a bit around the pasta as it cools slightly, and you can use more pasta water as you need to adjust the consistency. For the 3 dishes, look at this. Plain pasta, straight from the sautoir, cooked in well-seasoned water that's been concentrating starch for 9 minutes. That is the foundation. The pasta is already seasoned all the way through, not just on the surface. The water around it is already doing something. These 3 dishes are just different things done to that base. Cacio pepe, pasta with cheese, pepper, and starchy water. 4 ingredients, the water is one of them. Our carbonara, egg yolk, fat, and the starch, same water, different binder. Amatriciana, tomato, guanciale, or bacon, and the starch. The water finished the sauce, not just the cooked pasta. 3 dishes, 1 technique, 1 common ingredient, the water. And that's it, 8 episodes. Pan temperature and the Leidenfrost effect, salt and osmosis and how seasoning actually works, lecithin and why emulsion sauces hold together, or don't, knife cuts and why how you prep something changes how it cooks, carryover heat and what resting is actually doing, the steam barrier that keeps fish from searing, 3 shellfish and the signals they give you right before they're done, and now pasta, which is, when you look at it, all of those things at once. Heat control, seasoning, emulsification, timing, finishing. The through line in all of it is the same. Once you understand what's actually happening in the pan, you don't need the recipe to tell you what to do. You can see it. The pasta water is starchy. I can see it. I know what it's doing. The egg goes in off the heat. I know why. The pasta finishes the sauce, because that's when the starch has the most to offer. That's what these episodes were supposed to be. Understanding, not instruction. Next week, something a little different. Still cooking, still technique, but perhaps a different format. What's for dinner? More about the meal, the decision making, and what to actually cook on a given night when you only have so much time allowed. If that sounds like something you want to watch, subscribe. I'll see you there.